Hey, good morning. So, as you can probably tell, my channel, the name that I've decided on for my channel is Life is Better with a Cigar. Because it really is. What I'm going to be reviewing today is Victor Sinclair Double Maduro. Um, it smells good. It smells almost raisiny. Like, but in a good way. Like, it's sweet, like a very like dried fruit smell to it, with maybe some wood in the background. Anyway, it smells good. I like it. I'm using my favorite Hammersmith Deep V cutter. I feel like the V in my particular, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? It fits me better. It fits me better. I like the V cut. I'm also using a Hammersmith torch lighter. I don't know if that matters to you guys about brands or whatever, but I like it a lot. Alright, let's get this show on the road. Honestly, I'm not getting a lot of flavor out of it, which is kind of disappointing. Did I seriously? I did. I was already in reverse. I shifted into neutral. But anyway. So it's not bad. It's I'm just really not getting a lot. Now, maybe my palate's, I mean, I know for sure my palate's not very advanced, right? I'm still learning. I'm still trying to broaden my horizons and whatnot, but it doesn't, I'm not getting a whole lot. Like, I taste smoke, right? But I'm not getting, I don't know. I'm really not getting anything discernible. It draws okay though. So, all right. Oh, Trevor says hello. Say hi, Trevor. Hi, Trevor. Anyway, so I am rating these cigars on 3 criteria. Number 1, the smell. And like I said, it smells pretty good. It smells pretty good. I'm gonna give it probably a 7 for the smell. The second one is the taste. I'm not getting much. I will reserve final judgment for the end, because I know it tends to change throughout the course of the stick. But it's not looking great up front. I'm not getting much in the way of flavor. And then the third criteria I'm judging on is how the composition. You know, how does it draw? Does it hold the cherry fairly well, or do I have to puff it every 10 seconds to keep it lit? Does it hold the ash pretty well? Does it start to unravel because it's too dry or too wet, whatever? So far, the composition's decent. I don't know about the cherry yet, or the ash, because obviously it's very early in the process. But Um, it's okay so far. Draw is decent. It's not like trying to puff on a stick, which I've had some of those where it's just crazy hard trying to draw any kind of smoke through it. But on the flip side, it's not. It does have a little bit of resistance, which I appreciate. It always throws me off a bit when it's too loose and there's no kind of resistance at all. That always fucks me up a little bit. But we'll keep it pushing. We will. I'll give you my final rating at the end. But anyway, kind of reminds me of the first dude, I know I'm being awkward as shit. I apologize. Like I said, I'm new to this whole YouTube thing. I feel like I'm talking to myself here, which is awkward on its own. But I'll get better over the course of the channel. I will get smoother. I will get better at articulating my thoughts. That's one thing I have a problem with a lot of the time is I can't find the word I'm looking for. I've taken a lot of blows to the head, a lot of head injuries over the course of my life, which definitely didn't help. The amount of weed I have smoked also doesn't help, but I figure with practice it'll get better. What was I saying? Oh, so it kind of reminds me of the first cigar I had. I had it in the Philippines, actually. Don't ask me what brand it was or anything like that. But it was good. It was like this. It was fucking massive. This shit was like the size of my forearm. It was like 7 or 8 inches long. It was like a 65 gauge. It was fucking crazy. It was massive. So backing up a little bit, I was in the military for quite a few years. I was in the Army for 3, and then in the Marine Corps for 6 after that, until I got hurt. And they said, well, you can stay in the military, but you'll have to ride a desk for the rest of your life, or for the rest of your career. And I said, yeah, fuck that, you can just pay me, right? But I miss it a lot of the time. Not every day, but a lot of the time I miss it. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So we were in the Philippines, and we were doing this training exercise with the Filipino military. And, it went pretty smooth. It's a beautiful country. The Philippine military, they're tough as hell. I'll tell you what. But, so we got done with our training, and they gave us a couple of days to go out and see the town, and 3 or 4 days downtime. But those of us who were the lower enlisted, we had to go out in groups of 4, just to make sure nobody did anything too crazy and couldn't get back. I mean, it's a little bit peppery on the back, but honestly, it's just fucking bland. Like, it's too mild. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not getting any leather. I'm not getting any creaminess. I'm not getting, the dark chocolate notes or fruity notes or anything like that. It's just bland. That's pretty disappointing, actually. I hope that changes over the course of the stick. Anyway, yeah, so we get our training done, and they say, yeah, go cut loose for Libo for for 3 or 4 days, whatever it happened to be, just go out in groups of 4. And so we went out and hit the local market, local stores. I forget what town or what city we were in, but it was a decent sized town. Had some little shops and whatnot. So I went in, and one of the shops had a cigar, and I was like, fuck yeah, let's do this, let's celebrate. So I got it, and so we went out and hit the bars that night. And for my first cigar, like I said, this thing was like 7 inches long. It was fucking like a Red Bull can, like this shit, right? Like a 20-ounce Red Bull. This shit was massive. But so anyway, so we're drinking, I'm smoking, we're just having a good time in the club, and we stagger back to the fucking to the hotel that we'd gotten. We weren't allowed to stay in the hotel, but we wanted to be able to keep some changes of clothes and stuff in there while we're out partying, so we don't have to go back to the ship covered in puke or whatever. Also, if one of us happened to get a girl, there was, you know what I mean, there was a spot to take her back to. But anyway, so we stagger back to our hotel, and I am absolutely smashed, just fucking shit-faced. And I'm drunk off my ass. I've smoked this entire cigar, right? I mean, it took me all night long, but we get back to the hotel, and I'm staggering down the hallway towards the room, singing Metallica, Enter the Sandman. And I'm just singing it at the top of my lungs, staggering down this hallway. And I ended up breaking the door into the room. Like, it wasn't, I'm not Superman or nothing. It wasn't some solid oak, like, outside door or whatever. It was like your bathroom door. Like, the hollow inside, super flimsy fucking... Anyway, super flimsy, like you're an inside door. And I ended up kicking that shit in. I had to pay for it, but anyway, it was a good time. We shit, that was the trip our doc got roofied in that club. Nothing happened to him, right? Like, we were able to catch it early enough and get it back to ship before anything happened, but it's crazy. I forgot about that until right now. Somebody dropped something in his drink at that club, and he was kind of a goody two-shoes before we went on that deployment, right? Great guy, super smart, kind of super smart Asian dude, but he was kind of like a goody two-shoes. Never really drank before. Went there a virgin, blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? So he wasn't used to having to watch his. He was kind of nursing his drink the whole time. You know, he'd leave it on the table and go and dance for a minute, and then come back and take another couple of sips. So it was just, he wasn't really looking out for himself. But he was in a group, so everybody else was watching out for him. We didn't see what happened to his drink, but we definitely saw the aftermath and got him out of there before anything happened. This is still drawing pretty good. And it's holding its ash fairly well. You know, I don't have to babysit it or anything, keep it lit. I'm starting to get, I'm probably an inch into the cigar. I'm starting to get a little bit of leather maybe in the background, which is nice. I like that flavor, but it's very subtle. It's very light, so I kind of hope it intensifies a little bit. I don't want to feel like I'm sucking on a leather glove or anything like that, but a little bit more of that flavor would be nice. Anyway, like I said, this is I'm starting out with the cheapies because my palate's not very refined or anything like that. I'm still learning, still trying to pick out these flavor notes. But as I get, what's going on up here? As I get better with the cigars and picking out these flavors, I will I'll go for the better and higher rated cigars. I don't want to feel like I'm missing a lot of the little nuances or whatever, you know what I mean? But man, this YouTube shit is hard, dude. Just talking to the video, I might have to bring somebody else in, kind of talk back and forth rather than just me talking to the camera, because this shit feels awkward. Anyway. Alright. A little bit about me. Like I said, I was in the military for a few years. I joined the Army, and I was California Army National Guard. Not only was I California Army National Guard, I was on the administrative side of the California Army National Guard. So I did fucking nothing. And I hated my life. I did. I hated being in the Army. And it wasn't necessarily hated being in the Army. It was I hated the fact that I was admin. When I joined up, I was 17. I was 17 when I joined. I didn't go to boot camp until after I graduated high school. So I was 18 when I went to boot camp. But I was 17 when I signed the contract. And at 17, since you're still a minor, you gotta have parental permission or whatever. My dad ended up signing the contract, or signing the permission slip for me, and I had it turned back in before my mom knew what was going on. So she was pretty pissed about that, but excuse me, she got over it. So anyway, when I went in and I was talking to the recruiter, he told me that the only MOSs, MOS means Military Occupational Specialty, I believe. It's basically just your job, whatever job you sign up for, like the job designation or whatever. But I was when I signed up, the recruiter said, well, the only MOSs we have available right now are either admin or paralegal. And he said, but in 6 months, or 6 months after boot camp, it's easy to just do a lateral move and transfer into a new MOS, right? And I was annoyed, but I was like, well, shit, I can do 6 months of anything. I don't care. I can do 6 months on my head. And at that point, I'll just transfer over into something I want to do, right? I wanted combat engineer because I wanted to play with C4. But he was like, yeah, that's the only MOSs we have available right now, which was bullshit. I know it was bullshit. Looking back on it, he had a quota to fill or whatever. But anyway, I was young and stupid, and I believed what the recruiter said. Here's a pro tip: don't ever believe a word that comes out of your recruiter's mouth unless you get that shit in writing. Because if it's not in writing, it didn't happen. Anyway, so I went into the Army as a 42 Foxtrot. Human Resources Information System Management Specialist. That was the full name, and it was garbage. I spent, after I went to boot camp and my AIT, I went out to my unit and I fucking hated it. It was garbage. It was super poorly run. I was a shitbag. I fucking hated everything and everyone. Which, granted, was definitely more my attitude than anything else. I recognized that in myself, that I had a poor attitude, but I fucking hated my life. We ended up spending a year in Kuwait, which there's nothing going on in Kuwait. That shit was just hot and fucking sandy, and the computers were always going down. The air conditioning didn't work half the time in the tent we were in. I sat for 12 hours a night. Excuse me, because I was night shift. I sat for 12 hours a night making ID cards for anybody who came in who had lost theirs in country. Garbage. I hated it. So anyway, I came back, and I was still on post-deployment leave when I went into the Marine Corps recruiter's office, and I said, "Get me the fuck out of the Army." And like 2 weeks later, I was at boot camp for the Marine Corps. But he said I was one of the easiest recruitments he'd ever done, because I went in and I said, I want the fuck out of the Army. I want infantry. And he was like, well, with your I had to retake the ASVAB, which is, I don't remember what the fuck that means, what the fuck the acronym for ASVAB means, but it's the, in case you don't know, it's the it's the test you have to take, like the aptitude test that you have to take when you join the military, and then based on that score, it gives you like options to take, or options of jobs you can go into. So the lower your score on the ASVAB, the fewer options you have, right? So, and that's another thing that fucked me, because when I took the ASVAB the first time in high school, I got a 96, and I should have been able to do any job I wanted to do, and the recruiter was like, oh, well, the only ones we have available, blah, 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 blah. Go fuck yourself, recruiter. It was literally easier for me to change branches of the military than it was for me to change my my MOS. I couldn't get out of that 42 Fox MOS for nothing. But anyway, yeah, it's still holding on to its ash pretty well. And I'm starting to get a little bit more of that creaminess. So fuck, maybe it was just the first, maybe it was just the first inch or so that was fucking bland. I'm starting to get a little bit more flavor, which is nice. Where was I? Anyway, so I went in and I was like, look, I want out of the Army. I wanted the military, or into the Marine Corps, excuse me. I was like, I want infantry, but I also want to play with C4. Like, what do you got for me? So I ended up going in as a an 0351, which is infantry assaultman. It's basically infantry with a specialization in demolitions and the small rocket launcher, which was a lot of fun. I got all kinds of crazy stories from when I was in the Marine Corps. But yeah, so I went from the Army National Guard admin to active duty Marine Corps infantry assaultman. That was a hell of a transition, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what, as Hank Hill would say. Yeah, so honestly, don't get me wrong, there were some shitty times in the Marine Corps. I lost a lot of good friends. I did a lot of stuff I'm not particularly proud of. But at the end of the day, overall, I don't regret my time in the military in general. I don't regret my time. Like, don't get it twisted. I'm not hating on what the military does. But would I do it again? Probably not. You know, it definitely took a toll on my body. You know, my knees are shot. I got a fucked up back. My whole right leg was rebuilt. You know, my neck and shoulders are trash. Basically, my spine has the structural integrity of like a bag of gravel at this point. Like, if I'm just sitting there, cool, no big deal. But at this point in my life, you look at me wrong and I throw my back out. This shit sucks. And it's not 100% from the military, but it definitely exacerbated the problems, or created the definitely sent me on my way to having back problems, rather than, you know what I mean? Like, I was in construction after I got out of the military, so that definitely made it worse, but the military definitely sent me on my way to having back problems. Shit was crazy though. Overall it was a good time, but there were definitely some shitty parts. Yeah, it's definitely getting creamier and more of a leather taste, which I'm appreciating. But if you look, I don't know if you can see that. I'm driving, so I can't. It's not burning super even. You know what I mean? Which definitely comes into play when it's time when I rate it for the composition, right? Because you want a nice even burn, and it's not burning super evenly. I'm gonna have to touch that up here in a minute. But it hasn't started unrolling, right? I kept it. I know that I need to store them better. I've actually got a humidor from Amador. It's a veteran-owned company that makes humidors out of old ammo cans, which I thought was cool. So I got it. I finally got it like a week ago after being back ordered for a couple of weeks. And right now it's in the seasoning stage. You know what I mean? I'm getting it ready. I haven't put any cigars into it yet. But I've got the Bovita seasoning packs in there. And they recommend 2 weeks before you add anything to it, to let it sit for a couple of weeks before you add it. So that's what I'm doing. It's closed up in my at home with the Bovita packs in it, seasoning up. So I'll be able to use that soon. But for now, I'm just using a Tupperware, excuse me, which is it's just a Tupperware that I've got a Bovita pack in it, keeping the cigars in. But that stays in the Tupperware. It's got more of my cheapy cigars in it, and it just stays in the car. So the temperature fluctuation, I'm sure, probably has something to do with with it not burning super evenly and the draw and things like that. So I guess I can't judge this too harshly on those aspects of it. But I've got them sitting in the Tupperware with a 69% Bovita, which is what I've been recommended. I definitely thought that like a 62 or a 65 would be better, but it seems like most people have the 69s, and that's what I was recommended by the cigar shop as well. So I'll give that a shot for a while. See if that makes a difference. But seriously, if I welcome any and all criticism for this, you know, I mean, like, don't be a dick about it. Like I said, I'm new, but I want to learn. I do. I want to learn more about the cigar world. If you've got any, what's the word I'm looking for? Any resources that you can pass along for me to learn more about the flavor notes that I'm supposed to be tasting for. If you've got like criticism or helpful hints about storing the cigars, or fuck, even if you say, oh, you know, the deep V is good, but I like the straight cutter better, or whatever, I like the hole punch better, fucking leave a comment, dude. Like the video, leave a comment. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. It gives me feedback as to if I'm actually talking to anybody or if I'm just talking to myself. Oh, look at that. I didn't even have to touch it up and it's starting to... Oh, motherfucker. Well, it finally ashed. That wasn't bad. It was like 1.5 inches or 2 inches to ash, I think. So it held it okay for at first. No, but seriously, if you've got any kind of helpful hints, tips and tricks, criticisms, you know, personal preference, if you've got recommendations for cigars I should try. For now, I'm definitely looking for things on the lower price point, but moving on in the future, I'll definitely be hitting some of those higher price points ones, the more expensive cigars. I've actually got a couple at home that are more temperature controlled in another Tupperware that I'm really looking forward to. That I'll be reviewing fairly soon. I got a flathead or fathead. I don't remember the fucking model number, for lack of a better term. I know that's not the right word, but that's all that comes to mind right now. I know Fathead is the brand, or Flathead, one or the other. I don't remember the actual stick, but it's big as shit. So I'm looking forward to that. I've heard good things about that. I've also got the My Father brand. I've heard great things about My Father. I've got a Le Bijou and a Apulencia, I believe. So I'm really looking forward to both of those. But like I said, I'm trying to get my palate a little bit more developed, because I know that that's going to be more complex in terms of tasting notes and things. Excuse me. Thirsty. Cheers. Fuck, if you've got things that better drinks than Red Bull to pair with it as well, give me any and all recommendations, tips and tricks, resources that you may have, criticisms. I welcome it all, man. I'm trying to learn. That goes with the YouTube side of it too. Like if you've got resources on how to relatively inexpensive ways to make my videos better, or things like, oh, you're I can't really do much about my lighting because I'm gonna be in the car 90% of these videos for work, but yeah, like, oh, this program makes it easier to edit your videos, or I recommend you try this setting on your phone, or fucking, whatever. I welcome it all. I want to be better at this whole thing. I don't expect it to really get big or anything like that. I'm not trying to make money off of fucking anything like that, but it would be nice to know I'm not just fucking talking to myself here. I'm thinking about starting like a Reddit thread, so it's easier to talk back and forth without having to comment on the specific video or whatever. I don't know about that shit yet, but that's an idea that's rattling around in the old noodle. Leave comments if you've got you can also just email me, lifeisbetterwithacigar@gmail.com. I'll leave that link down in the description underneath the video. But one thing I do ask, though, I think is common sense, but fuck, common sense is basically a superpower these days. Any criticisms you have, like I said, I welcome them, but keep them constructive criticisms. Like, if you're a dick about it, I'm gonna delete your comment, because I got no time for that kind of negativity. I got 6 fucking kids. I get enough negativity in my life on a daily basis, especially because 3 of them are teenagers. One's a preteen, and then I got 2 toddlers. So I get enough chaos in my life on a daily basis, and criticisms and attitudes and sarcasm, blah blah blah. Let's see, what else about me? I'm in my late 30s. I'm not going to give you too much like super specific personal information about me. I don't really feel it's necessary. But I'm in my late 30s, which means I was born in the late 80s. I remember most of the 90s, so I kind of consider myself I consider myself a 90s kid. You know what I mean? I don't know if I fall under the fucking millennial, or I don't know what goddamn generation I fall under. I never really paid attention to that. But I don't know, that shit changes all the time anyway. People are like, oh, this is the cutoff. Oh, that's the cutoff. Whatever. I don't care. Let's see. I got 6 kids. Two of them do not live with me currently. One of them, my 16-year-old, she lives with her mom in a different state, and I guess if we're being technical, she's not officially mine. Like, I'm the only dad she's ever known, right? But she's not biologically my daughter, right? I would love to claim her. I would love it if she was biologically my daughter, but she's not. And while I was married to my ex-wife, I was broke then and I'm broke now, but I was extra broke then, and I didn't have the money to formally, legally adopt her. So I really have I have no rights. You know what I mean? I'm the only dad she's known, but what are you fucking doing up here, my dude? Some kind of construction going on or whatever. Anyway, yeah, so she's not biologically mine, she's not legally mine. I really have no rights when it comes to her. Which sucks. But I think she's starting to see through a lot of her mom's bullshit. And she's 16, she just turned 16, so she's only got a couple of more years before she can make decisions for herself rather than having to run everything by her mom. So I'm hoping that she chooses a college closer to me so that I can go visit more often. I haven't seen her in like 2 years, which sucks. Because I either have the money but not the time to go see her, or vice versa. I've got the time but not the money. I talk to her as often as I can, right? But it sucks not being able to go see her. I'm starting to get more like wood. Definitely still tasting the leather, and I'm still tasting like the creaminess, but I'm getting more like a woodsy taste now, which I dig. I like it. I'm gonna have to. I'm starting to raise my opinion of this cigar, this Victor Sinclair Double Maduro. I dig it. I don't know what the wrap is. I don't know what the filler is. I got to pay more attention to that stuff in the future. But I'm digging it. Yeah, so I got these in a pack through. Who'd I get them through? Thompson Cigar, I think is who I got them through. Which is great. Their customer service is trash. Like, I'm not gonna blow smoke up your ass. Not Victor Sinclair. Thompson Cigar, their customer service is trash. But if you're looking for cheap cigars and a decent selection, I feel like they do a decent job. They're not too expensive. I got these Victor Sinclairs. I got a pack of them. I think there was 10 in the pack. I think I might have made it paid like $30 or $40 for the pack, something like that. But there's 4 different kinds, or 5 different kinds, different models, for lack of a better term. So I got the Double Maduro. I got Sun Grown. And then I got 3 others that I can't think of off the top of my head. I got a I gotta look at the wrapper or look at the ring to tell you what they are. I'll end up reviewing those pretty quick, I think. Anyway, fuck. Christmas, jumping tracks here for a minute. Christmas is a couple of weeks from now. And if you got a gaggle of kids like I do, Christmas gets fucking expensive, man. I don't have the money for... Like, I do okay. I've done okay. I just this year, I got a new job. I moved to South Georgia back in July. I've lived all over the fucking place. But I just moved to South Georgia. And honestly, I like it here a lot better than I liked it pretty much anywhere else I've lived. But anyway, so I got a job here. I'm working with a roofing company. I'm a roof salesman, and we just had Hurricane Helene hit back at the end of September. And while I would never wish property damage on anybody, right? Because from a personal point of view, that shit sucks. Having to deal with insurance and property damage and trying to get your shit fixed or whatever. From a personal point of view, that shit sucks. From a professional point of view, that is great for business. Those 100+ mile an hour winds came through and ripped half of people's roofs off, and then I come along and sell them a new one. So it's nice from a professional point of view, but I feel bad for these people, you know what I mean? Like, we're not a general contractor, so we can't do a lot if they've got a tree in their living room. But anyway, yeah, man, if y'all got questions or comments about things that I should talk about, dude, I'm running out of fucking ideas. It's only the first review. I'm not running out of ideas. I got a shit ton of stories I could tell, but I don't want to blow my whole load all at once. What are you doing, Trevor? Trevor's back here sleeping. Oh, here he is. Hey, buddy. Say hi, Trevor. Hi. Anyway, you know, with the exception of that little couple of minutes where it wasn't burning very evenly, it's evened itself out pretty good. Like, it's not a perfect straight line or anything like that, but it's started to even out pretty good. It's keeping the cherry relatively well, so I don't have to babysit it. The draw is still really nice. I gotta say, man, for the composition, this is pretty solid so far. It didn't unravel when I clipped it. Excuse me. I like it. What else? Okay, all right. I don't know where y'all are watching from, but there is a huge controversy in the cast iron world, whether you can or cannot use fucking soap on your cast iron. The answer is yes. Use soap to clean your cast iron. It's not gonna hurt not gonna hurt the seasoning on it at all. Use soap to wash your goddamn cast iron. The reason that back in the day they said don't use soap on your cast iron. You know, you cast iron handed down from grandpa, or excuse me, grandma, grandpa, whatever. And they say don't use soap on your cast iron. It's bullshit. The reason they said don't use it is because back in the day, soap was made with lye, and lye will 100% strip the seasoning from your cast iron. You know, it was supposed to be, when they made it, the lye was supposed to be like neutralized and shit like that, because it was used in the production of the soap. So they were in the process, it was supposed to be like neutralized or whatever, but it didn't always get 100% neutralized. So yeah, soap had a tendency to strip the seasoning out of your cast iron. Now you're using things like Dawn, or, you know, palm olive, whatever you're using to wash your dishes. That's not technically dish soap. It's dish detergent, and it's not made with lye. So it is 100% perfectly safe to use on your cast iron without stripping that shit out. Otherwise, it's not adding flavor to the food you cook into it. You're just cooking with rancid grease. And that's not a flavor I want in my food when I use my cast iron. But anyway, that was just a little side tangent there. Oh, fuck. Man, I was saying such nice things about you, saying how well you were keeping the cherry and things like that, and then it said, nope, fuck you, I'm going out. So I gotta relight this shit. I stand corrected. The cherry went out kind of out of nowhere too. What else? I don't know, man. I think we're just gonna chill for a minute whilst I think of something else to talk about. You know what? We'll go back to my kids. So I already talked about my 16-year-old. I got 5 girls and a boy. I got an 18-year-old, a 16-year-old, a excuse me, 18, 16, 14, 11, 4, and then my boy just turned 1. Well, he turned 1 back in October, so he's just over 1 now. He's a little monster, though. Honestly, I heard something one time talking about the difference in raising girls and boys, and me being raised with, I got 1 brother, so knowing the shit that we used to get up to versus raising my daughters, girls are more drama. You know what I mean? It's just noise all the time. Nothing but drama and chaos and crying and yelling and blah blah blah. Girls are definitely more drama. However, boys are harder to keep alive, right? Because me and my brother, we were always falling out of trees and climbing up on the shed and getting stitches and breaking bones and whatnot. So far, that hasn't been knock on wood. I don't have any wood to knock on, but so far, my girls aren't like that. You know, they're definitely more drama, but boys are harder to keep alive. I heard that somewhere, and it's 100% true in my experience. Even with my 1-year-old, you know what I mean? Like, he's always, when he's sitting in his high chair, and you got the tray that's locked down right in front of him. He if you don't have him strapped in, like if he's just sitting there with the tray in his lap, and you look away for 3.5 seconds, you turn back around and look at him, he's standing up backwards in his chair, like trying to climb up on the tray, and like, dude, you're gonna end up falling on your head. I don't remember any of my girls doing that. Like, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't change any of my kids for anything, right? Like, I wouldn't want all boys. I wouldn't want all girls. I wouldn't want to change any of their personalities. Nothing like that. But there's definitely a difference. With my girls, you know, they argue with each other. They scream at each other. They're always yelling and screaming and crying and fucking silent treatment and blah blah blah. That shit can go on for days. Me and my brother, man, we would just take it outside. We'd throw hands. Win, lose, or draw. 20 minutes later, that's a wrap. It's over. You know what I mean? Problem is squashed. You move on with your life. I don't have the energy to keep... I don't have the energy to be pissed off for days at a time. Over the same shit, anyway. I'm always pissed off about something, but I don't have the energy to be pissed off about the same shit day after day after day. Christmas is expensive, man. I got lucky though, because at least their birthdays are all spread out, right? Like, I got birthdays in March, April, May, and June, and then my wife is in July. And then I have birthdays in October and December. So at least the birthdays are all spread out, you know what I mean? But Christmas gets expensive. Taste was gone, or is gone. I'm still getting the leather. The leather's been, other than that first like half inch or whatever it was, the leather taste has been pretty consistent, which I appreciated. But that's really all I'm getting. I don't know if that's because my palate's not very sensitive yet, or if like that's legit all that there is. But that's all I'm getting. It's kind of one note, you know what I mean? Except for that brief moment where there was the woodsy taste as well. That cedar taste. Kind of one note other than that. So I've heard that you can generally expect for the flavor to kind of evolve over the course of the stick, and I've heard that it does it in like thirds. So like the first third of the stick will have this flavor, and then like it will evolve and get maybe more complex for the second third, and then again for the third. But for this, I'm about halfway through, I guess, and I haven't really noticed that, but we'll see how it goes. So I haven't decided yet whether or not I'm going to tell you who I work for, because I'm sure that you specifically, whoever's watching this, I'm sure you're cool, you know. I'm not sure about that. I don't know you, but there's a lot of crazy people out there in the world, and I feel like if I give you too many specific personal details about me, I don't know. I got a big mouth. I tend to piss a lot of people off. So I don't really feel like getting tracked down and all kinds of hate mail and shit to my house. Letter bombs and whatnot. Death threats to my family. I don't know you people. But anyway, so I do work for a roofing company. I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to tell you which roofing company here in South Georgia, but I work with a big part of my job is dealing with the insurance so that the homeowner doesn't have to, right? Like we make the initial phone call to make that claim, so I can get that claim number and verify that the insurance knows that they can talk to me. But other than that, I try to take that specific problem, that specific headache off of the homeowner's plate so they don't have to deal with it. But man, some of the insurance companies are super easy to work with. Like, honestly, shout out to auto owners, because auto owners is fucking easy to work with. You know who's not easy to work with? State Farm. Fuck you, State Farm. You are the biggest pain in my ass that I have ever fucking had. State Farm. My manager was up on the roof. Up on a roof, I should say. Checking out doing an inspection with the insurance company, and there was like 158 shingles, or just something stupid, like some crazy amount, in the high hundreds, mid to high hundreds of shingles that needed to be replaced, right? So instead of just saying, all right, that's a shit ton of shingles, like, just here, we're gonna write you a check to get a new roof, they're like, no, we're going to pay X amount of money. You're going to go up there and repair and replace those 150 some odd shingles individually. Like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? You're paying more in labor and you know what I mean? Like, you're paying more in labor than you would be just replace the roof. Because now I got to go up, or I say I, but in this particular case it was my manager. I got to go up and be nice about taking that shingle out, right? Because if you're all crazy and aggressive with it, you're gonna damage the surrounding shingles, so then you got to replace them too. But so now I got to go up there and be nice and gentle and take that off and then put the new one on, and rather than if I'm just replacing, if you're just getting a whole new roof, I'm not gonna break your roof or nothing. I'm not gonna break through the deck boards, but I'm not necessarily gonna have to be super gentle about taking the other shingles off, because I don't care if I rip them or not. They're getting replaced, right? They're all getting replaced, so I don't have to worry about am I gonna crease or rip the surrounding shingles. So that takes 2 or 3 times as long, and you're paying. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Fuck you, State Farm. They do that shit every time. 99% of the time, they're going to go up there and they're going to say, nope, I'm not paying for this. When in reality, just pay for the fucking roof, man. No reason to deny it. This homeowner's been paying you every month for, X amount of years. But as soon as it's time for you to come out of your pocket, all of a sudden, you want to be fucking stingy. Bastards. Frontline insurance is another one I've had a lot of problems with lately. I went up. This one was my personal experience. I went up there yesterday. Well, yesterday I did the reinspection. I guess it was about a month ago. I went up there for the first time, and I marked up the roof, and the inspector came out, and just on one slope, there was like 65 shingles that needed to be replaced. Right? They're creased, they're missing, they're torn. And that was just on one slope. There was at least 10 or 15 on every other slope of the roof. They completely denied his claim. They were like, oh, it's obvious to us that this didn't all happen at one time, and blah, 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 blah. Like, I never said that all happened at one time. I said that the roof is fucked up and needs to be replaced. But they didn't even pay out any hush money. They just completely denied the claims. Now I gotta fight that shit. Which, I mean, that's what we specialize in, is fighting those insurance claims. But fuck, waste my goddamn time. Out here just driving aimlessly because my next appointment's not for a little while. I could probably pull over into a parking lot or something, quit wasting gas. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea. But anyway, in the comments, drop where you're watching from. Fucking, it'd be pretty cool if y'all are watching somewhere that that wasn't in the U.S. or if it was on the opposite coast or whatever, you know what I mean? Lets me know I'm talking to people and not just bots or whatever. I feel like I'm boring you guys. Oh, there we go. See, once again, it's starting to not burn evenly. That's gotta be me storing it wrong. Probably the temperature fluctuations or something. Things will get better when I'm using my actual humidor, I think. And no, I wasn't hotboxing my car, smoking the dog out. This window and the back window were both cracked, so when I'm moving, it sucks the smoke out pretty easy. Man, I don't want to touch that up because I feel like I'm hoping that it does it again on its own, that it evens out on its own, but that's kind of a severe inequality, for lack of a better term. So I don't know if it will or not. This video is long as shit. It's almost 1:15 already, which I guess is fairly standard for these longer cigars. But maybe I should break these videos up, so that you're not trying to watch an 1.5-hour video just staring at my gorgeous face while I smoke a cigar, listening to me bullshit about whatever the hell I got going on. So I had to go rewire. Well, backing up a little bit, me and electricity, we don't get along. I've had a lot of different jobs in my life, and shit, my dad's an electrical contractor out on the West Coast. He's been doing the shit for 40 years now. And my brother definitely followed in his footsteps. But me and electricity have never gotten along in terms of raw electricity, wires and shit, you know what I mean? Like, obviously I can turn the lights on and off and, you know, work the stove, shit like that. But anyway, I had to go through and when we moved out here to West Georgia, we bought a house. It was the first house that my wife and I had owned. We'd always rented before, so we ended up buying a house, and it needs quite a bit of work. Like, it's livable, but it needs quite a bit of work. So our dryer outlet, it's got an electrical outlet, not a gas outlet for the dryer, but Not a gas hookup, I mean, for the dryer. But, where was I going with that? Anyway, so I had to rewire the dryer hookup because it was only getting like half the power it needs for a dryer. Like, what the fuck? So I called up my dad, and he was like, yeah, it might be a loose wire, blah blah blah. So we went through all the basic troubleshooting shit, right? There was no loose wire on the outlet end. There was no loose wire on the breaker box end. Excuse me. Nothing. No broken wires, anything like that. So I had to go through and crawl under the house, which was fucking gross. There was a lot of stuff under there going on under there that I didn't fucking know about. That's gonna take time and money to fix, but so I followed that wire the whole way through, from the outlet under the down to the crawl space, back and forth. Like it snaked around all over the place. Followed it, got all nasty and dirty, which I don't have a problem being dirty, don't get me wrong, but it's gross under there. Just to find out there's nothing wrong with the wire itself. It was hooked into, instead of it being hooked into a 30 amp breaker, it was hooked into a 50 amp breaker. Hooked into a 50 amp breaker, which I thought that would be okay, but apparently that cut down the amount of voltage it lets through by almost half. So that's all it was. I just had to take the wires from in the breaker and hook them to a 30 amp breaker instead of a 50 amp. And shit, now she works like a... Well, we got to move the dryer back inside today. I just did that last night, but the once I got it hooked up to the 30 amp and went and checked the voltage coming through to the outlet, it's got the right voltage. So fingers crossed, it should work well now. Going to the laundromat, that shit gets expensive, especially with a big family. If it's just you, then you got one load to do at a time or whatever, maybe two. But we go to the laundromat and we spend like a $60 trip trying to get all our shit clean. It gets expensive. Fuck, I don't know. Oh, it ashed. It ashed out the way. It did mostly even back out though. I mean, it's again, it's not a perfect line, but it evened out quite a bit. And I didn't have to touch it up or anything. I gotta admit, man, I'm not super impressed with this cigar. Like, I don't mind a mild cigar, but this was too mild. You know what I mean? Victor Sinclair Legacy Double Maduro. I think I'm fucking done with this one. I'd like to learn how to blow smoke rings. That would be pretty cool, I think. I've seen YouTube videos on how to do it, but I could never get the hang of it. Anyway, so yeah, it's like even the leather flavor is getting fainter and fainter. Yeah, more and more faint. It's getting, like I said, I enjoy a mild cigar, but mild doesn't necessarily mean bland. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think I'm done with this one. It was okay. It was not super enjoyable. Alright, so what did I say? I said for the smell, I mean the smell is different now, but it had a like a sweet, like a dried fruit, raisiny smell with like a little bit of a cedar background, and I appreciated that about it. That's what appreciates about you, as Squirrely Dan would say from Letterkenny. If you haven't seen Letterkenny yet, it's on Hulu. You should definitely check it out. Nothing but non-stop Canadians talking shit to each other. It's great. But anyway, so 7 for the smell of the stick itself. Flavor, fucking 3. It's been bland pretty much the whole way through. It's been bland, and even when it had that even that even that leather, it was one note. Excuse me. So 7 for smell, 3 for flavor, and for the composition, it was decent. It had a decent draw the whole time. It didn't unravel. The cherry only went out once, which, I mean, I don't think it should have gone out at all, but held ash okay. Composition, I'm gonna say a 7 as well. So, fuck, let me 17 divided by 3. My brain doesn't want to math right now. Like a 6.5 ish, 6.6, something like that. 6.7. Right? That's 17 divided by 3. No, I lied. 6 times 3 is 18. So it would be 5.6 or 5.7. We'll round up, give it the benefit of the doubt. Go to 5.7 out of 10. Not super impressive. One note. Leathery was nice, but bland. Bland, bland, bland. Victor Sinclair Legacy, Double Maduro. I rate you officially at a 5.7. Do better. Alright, y'all. Like I said, I'm going to try to post one of these a week, maybe 2 of these a week, if I'm feeling squirrely. So, I'll see you next time. Like and subscribe. Thank you.